Hey, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Yoga Church Digital. We apologize. We've had a little bit of a technical difficulties this morning, but we're so grateful for you persevering with us. Just to start our practice, we'd love to hear who you are, how you are, and where you are. If you want to post that in the comments section, and you can do that, all of you who are joining us live, and also all of you who are joining us later in the week when you join in whatever time that is. We do collect and pray for you whenever you join in with us. And we'll have a time when Karen concludes our practice today of prayers that you can lift up any pals and wows, joys or concerns, mountaintop moments or valley things. We want to pray for those with you. So this morning, I wanted to open us with a little bit of a story from the life of Jesus, one of his teachings. And please, also, I forgot to mention, if you want to just share this, you can start a watch party with your friends. For those that are joining on YouTube, you can send them the link and text that to people, send it out, email it, so that they can join into this practice as well. We're just grateful that wherever you are in the safety of your space that you can join in with us. And Karen, who's at Lake Deaton United Methodist Church, and with a group there, will be leading us as well from that space. Just a quick little plug on that too for Lake Deaton United Methodist Church. Tonight is we're returning to in-person Celebrate Recovery tonight. So the doors open at 5:30. So if you have a hurt or a habit or a hang up, anybody got any of those? I'm raising my own hand over here. A hurt, an emotional harm, a habit, something that maybe you do that's not God's best for you, or something that is not great for your health, or a hang up, some negative mental attitude that you kind of carry around. We have a program for you. It's called Celebrate Recovery, and I'll be there tonight, and as well as many others. So I wanted to quickly share a story from the life of Jesus. It's okay today if you are not a Christian. Maybe you are a Christian, maybe you're not sure, maybe you're thinking about becoming a Christian. Wherever you are in that spectrum, you're welcome to be with us this morning. And the story that I want to share is from the life of Jesus. Many people know it as the story of the Good Samaritan. The story of the Good Samaritan. So the month of February, as probably many of you know, is a month where we celebrate Black history. It's a month where we celebrate Black history. Good morning, Nicole. And what I've been doing with that, just a personal practice, and I encourage you to do it. What I have done in the past is I love reading some Martin Luther King Jr. stuff, and I consider him to be one of my mentors in the faith and somebody who I'm trying to follow in their shadow. But what I've done this year is I'm trying to think of the friends I have in my life who are Black persons, scholars, mentors, friends, colleagues in ministry. And I'm just publicly on my social media thanking God for them and lifting them up and encouraging them. Because Black history is not just a thing in the past, it's something that's being made today. Can I get an amen? There are Black people all over the world making history today. In many significant ways. So I just invite you to pray and think about that. But the reason I wanted to share the Good Samaritan story in this month of February is because it's really a anti-racism parable. And let me explain what I mean. I'll give you the quick version so we can get to Karen here. And I know we're starting late, but Jesus tells this story. Somebody asks, hey, what do I got to do to be a good person, to have the kingdom, whatever in my life? And Jesus says, well, you love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. You love your neighbor as yourself. Then the person asks a follow-up question. So who is my neighbor? And in response to the question, Jesus doesn't answer the question specifically. What he does is he answers with a story, a parable. And so he tells a story about somebody who gets beaten and left on the side of the road. In the ancient world, the roads were a dangerous place. There was bandits and brigands and wild animals and all kind of things. And so Jesus tells a story about this person who gets mugged and beaten and kind of left for dead. And two religious leaders pass by, like the priestly guy, the pastor of the day, and he's got to get to church, so he's in a hurry, so he just leaves the guy on the side of the road. Then somebody from the family of Levi, somebody who had a heritage, a Levite, a legacy of being part of a tribe of priests, and he's got things to do, so he just passes by this person who's laying on the side of the road. But a good Samaritan stops by. Now, in the ancient world, Samaritans were the hated, bitter, racial enemies of Jewish people. So there was a lot of tension there, and it goes deeper than even like the hatred that Florida Gators have for Florida Seminoles. It's even deeper than that. And they literally considered each other to be unclean. They had different ideas around religion. There was a lot of judgment there. There was some racial tension between. And so when Jesus says it's the Samaritan who stops on the side of the road, heals the man, gives out of his own resources, takes him to the place where he's supposed to go to find healing and provision, that is the one who was a good neighbor. And he tells this person who asked the question, now you go and do likewise. Now you go and do likewise. So what Jesus is doing in this story to me is he's challenging our own categorizations, right? That those people are stereotypically like this. Those Samaritans, they're just bad people. They're unclean, whatever. That somehow, what I've heard that really has struck me lately is that we carry the stories and the biases of our parents and our grandparents and our ancestors in our bones, right? And so we're shaped and formed in a narrative. So Jesus is saying you have to challenge those, and actually we're called to love all people, even our racial other, our religious other, our political other, whatever. And it's the act of getting ourselves and our biases out of the way and truly loving other people that creates the kind of vision that Jesus calls us to live into. So that is what I want to share with you this morning, and then just ask this question in this month of February. How am I celebrating Black history is something that I'm asking myself. How am I participating in this idea that Jesus says to evaluate my own biases and isms and to grow out of those? And how am I loving all people? So for me, Karen always invites us, we can have an intention or we can not have an intention, depending on where you are. Maybe you're just getting into the spiritual practice of yoga itself. But for me, my intention is going to be kind of looking at my own heart and examining spaces that maybe need to be transformed and changed in my own soul so that I can more effectively love other people that I may encounter in my life. So all of you who are joined in on our different social media feeds, can you give us some likes and love, show some reactions in the comment section there? And for all our friends there at Lake Deaton UMC, can y'all make some noise if you're in the house? All right. All right. So thank you, Karen, so much, and for persevering and pressing through the technological issues to lead us today. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Michael. Let us begin. Let's just kind of clear our minds and get rid of any anxiety or any stress or any negativity. Close your eyes and let us begin with the heart of yoga, which is breath. So be aware of your breath, what's happening as you inhale, what's happening as you exhale, using that breath to clear your mind and focus on whatever your heart and your soul is telling you. Maybe it is an intention of just being non-judgmental, or whatever. Maybe it might be something as simple as showing grace or forgiveness or acceptance. Let us just breathe. And on the next breath, let's open our eyes, take our arms out long with our palms up. Inhale to float the hands up, and exhale, hands over, heart center, and namaste. Inhale to float the hands up. Big stretch here, just opening up your arms as big as you can. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And 2 more big stretches, using your breath to guide your movement. Floating your fingertips out as far as you can reach your arms, floating your hands down to your mat. As we go into some side stretches, know before we continue that this is your practice. And if anything doesn't feel right, it's perfectly okay not to do it. To listen to your body and only do what feels good for you. Taking that left palm up, reach up and over. Letting your breath guide your movement. Remember that as you move any part of your body or any joint, that the slower you move a joint, the more tension you release. So it's okay to go slow. Maybe make your breath a little bit longer, your inhale longer, and your exhale longer than your inhale to help you just slow down. We had some technical difficulties. It's a beautiful day outside, and I was trying so hard to let our yoga practice be outside in this beautiful day. The skies are so blue, but we could not get the connection that we needed. So we will try another time. Inhale and exhale. One more big side stretch. Inhale and exhale. Drop your hands by your side. Sit as tall as you can. It's important to have a bend in your knees. You can have folded legs like me, or maybe you bring your feet out in front. As long as you have a little bend in your knees as we warm up our spine, starting just a very small upper body circle. So we start small, but gradually increase the size of your circle. We're just trying to warm up the spine before we get into any spine mobility. Let us switch the direction of our circle, starting small and gradually increasing the size of the circle. One more circle and come up nice and tall, sitting tall, dropping the shoulders down away from the ears, going tall through the crown of the head before we begin our seated cat and cow. So I like to show the seated cat and cow so that when we go to our knees, know that you can stay right here in a seated cat and cow if you have any knee or any kind of wrist issues. Inhale to hinge forward for your seated cow. Lift your heart, lift your gaze. Inhale to fill the lungs up with air. On the exhale, begin to nod your chin, round your spine, and round back like a Halloween cat. Inhale into cow. And exhale into cat. Inhale. And exhale. One more set. Inhale. And exhale. And come up to tall spine. Let's go and take our left leg out and pull your right heel in towards your body. And we're just going to do a little side stretch here. So first, let's start with a modified side stretch. You're going to take that left hand and slowly slide it down towards your toes. Gaze at your toes and breathe. Inhale and exhale. And then as you continue to bring your heart towards your straightened leg, maybe bring your gaze to your knee, and you'll feel a little more stretch in the right side of your body. Inhale, and on the exhale, slide your hand back up your leg, sitting as tall as you can. We're going to take it a little bit deeper, unless you want to just continue the way we just stretched. Otherwise, go on and float your right hand up as high as you can reach. Keep it high and slide that left hand down your left leg, gazing down toward your toes. Now, the bigger the space between your two hands, the bigger the stretch. Maybe you actually bring your nose down a little bit towards that knee and breathe. On the next breath, go on and slide that hand back up as you drop your right hand behind your hip. lift your left hand up towards the ceiling and maybe over a little. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can lift up your buttocks and press your hips forward and breathe. So again, listen to your body and don't do anything that doesn't feel right. The beautiful thing about yoga, I always say, is that we're all built differently, so we all move differently. So we are just going to move in ways that our body likes to move. Inhale, exhale, come on back down. Before we go to the other side, we're going to go into a seated butterfly, bringing the soles of the feet together. If you have lower back issues, push your feet away. Otherwise, pull it in. I like to get as close as I can. I even wiggle to get a little closer. Grab hold of your lower leg or your ankle or your knee. Whatever you can, put your belly into your spine and enjoy this stretch as you push your knees away from each other. Now, if you want to go a little bit deeper, let the elbows fall over the inner knees. Gently press them. Nod your chin and let your nose fall towards your feet very slowly. And breathe. On the next breath, slowly roll the spine up, articulating the spine, stacking one vertebra on top of the other. Go on and take that right leg out so we can go on to our stretch on this side. So you're going to take your right hand and slowly slide it down your leg towards your toes, but only as far as it feels good. Gaze down at your big toe and breathe. Now to change it up a little, take your gaze to your knee. And you'll feel a little more stretch in the left side of your body. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can kind of flex your toes, pointing them up to the ceiling, and breathe. As you breathe deep, you should feel more stretch in the left side of your body. On the next breath, let's go in and slide the hand back up as we go into a deeper stretch. If that's something you want to do, floating your left hand up, reaching as high as you can, and then sliding your right hand back down towards your toes. So the bigger the space, the higher your left hand, the bigger the stretch. Now go on and gaze down to your knee. Maybe let your nose fall about 2 inches closer towards your knee and breathe. On the next breath, go on and slide that right hand back up your leg as you drop your left hand behind your hip. You can have a soft left elbow there. As you float your right hand up towards the ceiling and then just kind of go over very softly. Maybe you want to go a little bit deeper. You can lift your buttocks, press your hips forward, and reach and breathe. On the next breath, slowly release your stretch, coming back down to your buttocks. And we're going to go right onto our hands and knees. I know we're a little short on time, so we're going to have to shorten some of our practice as we go forward. So on your hands and knees, your wrists are under your shoulders, and your wrists, knees, and feet are all in alignment. So let's nod our chin, look at our feet. Be sure you can't see them because they're behind your knees. Go in and look at your belly and round your spine, pulling your belly into your spine and rounding your back like that Halloween cat. And then as we move into kneeling cow pose, soften your wrist, elbows, and shoulders as your belly drops towards the earth. Lift your heart, lift your gaze, and inhale. And continue rolling through the spine as though it was a wave. Exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And on the exhale, hold your cat pose as we go into big hip circles, taking your hips out to the right, over the right heel, over the left heel, over to the left, and back to the center. And then switch the direction of your circles. Inhaling and exhaling with each hip circle. Let's do 2 more hip circles. Inhale and exhale. And 1 more. Inhale and exhale. Let's drop into an extended child's pose. So you're bringing your buttocks down towards your heels and your toes are flat. They are not curled under. You can drop your elbows, drop your forehead to the mat and breathe. So continue to breathe here in your extended child's pose. And know that child's pose is a modification for downward dog. So as I go into downward dog, if that's not something for you, if you have glaucoma or high blood pressure or any reason that you don't like to do downward dog, you can just do child's pose instead. So you can stay in your child's pose or come up onto your hand, knees, tucking your toes under as we move into downward dog, lifting your knees, lifting your sits bones, letting your gaze go to your knees and pedaling your feet. Left heel goes down, right, left, right, left, right. Both heels pressing down. And then lifting both heels up as we press into our plank, dropping your shoulders over your wrist, maybe dropping your knees and holding your plank. Now, if you're in child's pose, you would just press forward into a kneeling plank. Or if you want more, you just keep your knees up. So breathe, pulling your belly into your spine, making sure that your hips don't sag. That's not good for the lower back. It's better to be piked up a little. And then we're just going to lower our entire body down, all the way down, chest and everything. Your fingertips are in alignment with your shoulders. We're going to move into yoga cobra pose. So first, uncurl your toes, squeeze your elbows in. This will help to protect your back. If you're someone with lower back issues, you might only lift an inch or two. Let's begin to lift with an inhale, maybe just a little, maybe a lot, maybe all the way up, and exhale to come back down. Inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale up and push into child's pose, where maybe you're going to stay or maybe you're going to come up into downward dog with me as you begin pedaling. Left heel, left, right, both heels pressing down. Lifting both heels up as we press into our plank. Remember, your plank can have knees down or knees up, feet apart, or feet together. Let it work for your body and breathe. We're going to go back into cobra. Unless you want a little bit more, you can join me for chaturanga by squeezing your elbows in to hold your rib cage up and holding chaturanga as long as you can. When you can't hold your chaturanga any longer, go back into your cobra pose. You can go into cobra pose with each vinyasa, depending on what feels best for your body. Let's press back into child's pose. Maybe you stay in child's pose and maybe you come back up into downward dog with me. If you're in downward dog, pedal, left heel, right, left, right. Both heels pressing down, either from child's pose or from downward dog, press into your plank. Maybe you stay in plank. Maybe you drop down to cobra, or join me for up dog. Uncurl the toes and slowly let the hips lower towards the mat, only an inch or two above the mat. So you're hovering your hips. Lift your heart, lift your gaze, and breathe in up dog or wherever you are. On the next breath, let's drop down into our child's pose once again and breathe 3 breaths here. As you breathe in child's pose, relax. We are going to be coming up to a standing forward fold in the next minute. So think about that. You can come with me into a downward dog and then hop forward, or maybe you use a chair or you have another way that works for your body to come up to standing. So on the next breath, let's come back into downward dog if that's something you're doing. And you can either walk forward or hop forward into a standing forward fold. So in the standing forward fold, you can bend your knees as much as you would like. Maybe you straighten them with each exhale. Let your gaze be on your knees. Maybe you want more, you can bring your hands underneath your heels and then use that resistance to straighten your legs and bring your nose a little closer to your knees, or not. And breathe. Now from here, we're just going to do a little extra stretching. Keep your eyes on your knees and the crown of your head facing the mat. As you bend your left knee, left, right. Keep your left knee bent as your nose floats towards your left knee. Straighten your right leg a little bit more, pushing your right hip up and back. And knee bends again. Right knee bends, left knee, right, left. Let's keep the right knee bent this time. Let your nose float towards as though you were going to kiss that right knee. Push your left hip up and back and breathe. And then knee bends again. Left knee, left, right. Both knees bend. We're going to move into yoga chair pose. So pretend there's a chair behind you as you float your arms, your hands up towards the ceiling, gazing up towards the ceiling. Maybe you prefer the bar stool, that's okay. Be sure you can see your toes. Lift your hands up and breathe and chair pose. On the next breath, stand all the way up, circle your hands all the way around until your hands are back over your heart center. I'm going to turn around to face the long side of my mat, spreading your feet wider than your shoulders. As we move into, I think I'll back up a little because it looks like my head might be chopped off there. Go on and just bring your arms into a Y. We're going to do a couple of moonflowers followed by sunflowers to warm up our core temperature. So little bitty squat or big squat, whatever feels good for you. Inhale and exhale. Progression would be deeper. Modification would be less range of motion. 2 more. Inhale, exhale, inhale. Let's go into sunflowers. Just make a big sunflower with your hands. Inhale, exhale. This should feel great. Just let go of anything that you want to let go of. Anything that's taken up negative space in your life, exhale it away. And just invite goodness and positive energy with inhale. Each inhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale and bring your arms out into a T. Standing, straddle, split. Be sure your feet are wider than your shoulders as we hinge halfway down into good morning pose. Now in good morning pose, you can stay here, enjoy the stretch, or join me for revolving triangle, dropping your left fingertips under your heart or your hand as you float your gaze and your right hand up towards the ceiling. And breathe. Bring your arms back out into a T as we revolve on the other side. Bring in the right fingertips or hand under the heart as you float your left hand and gaze up towards the ceiling. And breathe. Inhale, exhale, and come back into standing, straddle, split. Let us move into our warriors from here. We're going to turn our right foot out to the side. Bend your right knee a little or a lot. So you really want to have this right knee stacked over the right ankle instead of the toes. That's very important to protect your knees. You want your upper body as tall as you can make it so that your shoulders and hips are stacked. Arms are long. This is warrior 2. Go on and rotate your upper body to your right, looking down your right fingers. Drop your back hand to your back leg. Flip your front palm up. Begin to reach up, peaceful warrior. We're going to stay here for a few breaths. And whenever we stay in a pose, this is where you would maybe meditate on that intention, as Michael was talking about. Maybe there is something that your heart or your mind or your soul was speaking to you when we began our practice. This would be a time to think about that. This is how we strengthen our mind, body, and spirit, connecting each together. On the next breath, come back out into long arms, warrior 2. As we go into side angle, dropping that right elbow to that right thigh, floating the left hand up, and gazing down to your big toe. Now, if you want more, you can do an extended side angle, just dropping your hand down to the inside ankle. If you still want more, maybe you gaze up to your left hand or not. And breathe once again. On the next breath, come back up into your warrior 2. As we go into triangle, go on and straighten out that right knee. Hand your upper body to the right. You can drop your hand either to your thigh or your shin. And gaze down once again, floating your back hand up. And breathe. From here, we're going to windmill that top hand down, bending that right knee, turning your left foot forward so you're in a deep runner's lunge. You can stay here. You can drop your knee if that's easier. It's just a hip flexor stretch. It's a wonderful stretch For runners, golfers, pickleballers, whatever it is that you do, maybe you sit at a desk all day. This is good for you as well. And then if your knee's down, lift it up, and then slowly come up, lifting your hands all the way up to the ceiling for crescent lunge. And then turning that back foot out once again the way it was when you're in warrior one. And then back into warrior two. Go on and turn that right foot forward. You're back into standing straddle split. Let's do our warrior series on the other side, turning your left foot out to the side, bending it a little or a lot, working with your body. And then we're going to drop that back hand to the back leg, gaze over to your left hand, and then begin to bring your left hand up towards the ceiling for peaceful warrior. From here, go back into warrior two with long arms. As we move into side angle, you're going to drop that left elbow to your left thigh, float your back hand up. Gaze down to your big toe. If you want more extended side angle, extend your hand down to the inside ankle. And on the next breath, come back up into warrior two with long arms to reset as we move into triangle. Go on and straighten out that left knee. Hinge your upper body to the left, dropping your hand to your shin or your thigh as you float your back hand up. Gaze down to your big toe to protect the neck and breathe. From there, we're going to windmill that top hand down as we turn that right foot to the left into a deep runner's lunge. You can straddle your front foot. You can keep your knee up, or maybe it's easier to bring your knee down. It's just a stretch. Let it feel good for your body. If your knee is down, bring it back up. We're going to come into crescent lunge. You can always bring your hands on top of your knee or your thigh to help you. As you reach your hands as high as you can reach, the longer your arms are here, the easier it is to stabilize. Turn that right foot out to the side. You're in warrior one. Open up your arms into warrior two, and then turn that left foot forward back to standing straddle split. Inhale to float the hands up. Exhale, hands over heart center. Take your heels in, big toes, heels. We're just bringing our feet back together, and we're going to go into our balance poses from here. So balance poses, it's okay if you hold on to a wall, but I'll do it in a progression style so that you can maybe keep your big toe down. So you just go as far as you feel that you can hold your tree pose. Let's start with our hands over our heart to help us focus, and maybe just feel that connection of the soles of your feet to the mat or to the ground. Grow tall through the crown of the head. Pull the belly into the spine. These are just tips to help you. Find a spot in the room that's not moving and keep your eyes on that spot as you lift up your left heel. Maybe you keep the ball of your foot down or your big toe down, or maybe you can take the heel to the inside ankle of your right foot. Maybe you float it up a little. Maybe you pick up your foot and put it in the inside of your thigh. It's your tree pose. Find that place where you can focus on your intention and breathe. On the next breath, let's release, coming into mountain pose, letting our arms just relax and hang down with our palms forward. Close your eyes in mountain pose. And again, feel that connection of the soles of the feet to your floor, to the mat, to the earth, wherever you are, as we become more grounded. Again, breathing and thinking of our intention, growing tall like a mountain and sturdy. Let us breathe. On the next breath, open your eyes. We're going to do tree pose on the other side, so you can bring your hands over your heart, or I encourage you to bring your hands somewhere else. So maybe you're a tall tree with lots of branches. Maybe you're just a lopsided one-sided tree or a fat bush or whatever kind of tree you want to be. as you lift up your right heel, maybe your right big toe. It's your tree. Remember to stand tall. Find that spot. Breathe. Meditate or focus on your intention or something good. Let your breath stabilize you. It's okay if the wind comes and shakes you a little. Just no falling trees, please. Woo. And release. Good job. Just kind of swing it out. Shoulder rolls back, loosen up. We're going to do some swan dives next, so come to the front of your mat. Hands are over the heart. Swan dives are all about your breath and your body, right? So be sure your breath guides your movement here. Soft knees, you're kind to your body here. Inhale to float the hands up. Exhale, the hips hinge and go towards the back. As your hands come in front of your knees, you flip them, or maybe your ankles. You're going to bend your knees a little bit more like you're taking a heavy load. It's a heavy load of love, of energy, of peace, of hope. Take it from above and into your heart center. Let us do another swan dive. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Shh. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. On this next one, we're going to stay down in our forward fold, so swan dive down, and then step back onto your hands and knees. We're going to swish our feet around to the front, so we're sitting on our buttocks, and we will go into boat pose from here. Again, boat pose, like balance pose, is kind of a balance pose, and I like to do it with each practice so you can see how you're progressing. So hopefully you're able to hold your boat pose a little more challenging and your pose or a little bit longer. Hold on to your knees, right behind your knees, roll past your tailbone, let your arms go straight. Look at your belly, pull your belly into your spine. That's engaging your core. It's not just pulling your belly in. And then go on and drop your shoulders, lift your heart, lift your gaze, lift your legs into tabletop. You're in boat pose. Maybe you reach your arms out for more. Maybe you want more challenge, you straighten your legs and breathe 5 breaths here. You can come out of your boat pose whenever you need to, or maybe you just drop your feet and bring them back up. Let us breathe. On the next breath, hands behind the knees, hinge forward, sit nice and tall. We're going to use this same movement to go down to our backs. So if you're someone that needs neck support, you can always just roll your mat up to make a little pillow for your head, or grab a towel or a pillow wherever you are. Let's go on and roll past that tailbone again. No pressure on the tailbone. Just lift up the feet and see how slowly you can roll your spine down, articulating the spine. So one vertebra at a time is going to roll down. So round your spine as each vertebra comes down. Drop the head to the mat. Pull the knees into the chest and gently rock them side to side. So let your feet be relaxed here. Maybe even do some ankle circles in slow motion. Relax your feet. Shake them out. Keep them relaxed along with your legs and bring your hands on top of your knees. As you pull your knees forward, we're going to circle them out to the side as big and slow as you can. So big knee circles, as slow and big as you can. So if your hands are on your shins, you probably have a limited circle. So maybe slide your hands up on top of your knees so your circles can be bigger, because bigger is better here. Let us switch the direction of our circles. Pull your knees together. Bring your toes up towards the ceiling, legs up the wall. Maybe drop your hands to your mat unless you need to support your legs. Legs up the wall is all about grounding your body and letting your legs be weightless. Just let the blood flow from the heels and then down your legs towards your belly. So this is the opposite flow pattern than when you're standing or walking. And that's why it feels so good and it's so restorative. Legs up the wall. Be sure to press your lower back into the mat and your belly into the spine to protect your lower back. On the next breath, slowly float the soles of the feet down to the mat. Let your knees be bent. Let your feet be about sits bones width apart. We're going to do a couple of pelvic tilts and a couple of bridge ups. So as you press your lower back into the mat, taking that natural arch out of your back, pull your belly into your spine so your pelvis is tilting up. Then inhale to slowly peel the spine up one vertebra at a time. And on the exhale, you're going to peel the spine down. So you're being kind to your spine, one vertebra at a time. Release the pelvis. Inhale to tilt the pelvis and begin to peel up. On the exhale, slowly peel down. Inhale to peel up. And if you want to hold your bridge on the exhale, just lift a little higher. Otherwise, peel your spine down. So in bridge pose, our arms are long. Sometimes we even interlock our fingers underneath our hips. And your thighs are long. So your knees are pressing away from your body. Close your eyes and breathe in bridge pose. Continuing to lift the belly up. If you have lower back issues, maybe you squeeze your buttocks, your glutes, to protect the lower back. If your fingers are interlocked, release them as you slowly peel your spine down one vertebra at a time. Let us bring our arms out into a T. We're going to let both knees fall towards the floor on the left as you gaze to the right, letting your top knee be heavier than your bottom knee. If you want to go a little bit deeper, maybe you straighten out that top knee, that top leg, and just let it fall. Go and bend both knees once again, coming back to the center as you let your knees fall towards the floor on the right. And again, if you want a little more, you can just kind of straighten out that top leg for hip drop stretch. Go on and bend the knees if they're not already bent. Slowly float them back up to the center as we move into supine butterfly with the soles of the feet coming together while the knees fall away from each other. Close your eyes here and once again, press your lower back into the mat and your belly into your spine. That's just to protect the spine. You can stay here in supine butterfly because it is very restorative and if it feels good for you. Or maybe you straighten your legs as we move into final savasana, final relaxation, which is the most important part of our practice today. So just close your eyes and totally relax. Just take this time to just be. Time for yourself and breathe. Relax your mind here, your thoughts, your breath, your spirit. Just be free of all thoughts. Just open up that space in your brain. If anything, just think of that intention, something good. As you relax your toes and the balls of your feet, the arches of your feet, even your heels and your legs behind your knees and your thighs, even your buttocks and your spine, your lower back, your middle back, and your upper back. Can you relax your shoulders just a little more? As you relax your arms, the insides of your elbows, the insides of your wrist, and the palms of your hands, your fingers, your thumbs, even your hip bones, your belly, your rib cage, your chest, your neck, your scalp, and all the muscles in your face. We hold a lot of tension in our face. Feel how freeing and relaxing it is to truly relax those muscles in your face. Relaxing your forehead and your eyebrows, your eyelids, your cheekbones, your nose, your chin, your ears, your earlobes. Even your teeth, you can unclench them, let them part. Let your tongue fall away from your teeth, relax your lips, and just be. Just be in the moment and breathe. I encourage you, if you're in a safe space, to breathe, exhaling, to inhale as deep as you can in through your nose, a long inhale so deep that your tummy rises high. And then you'll pause. And on the exhale, you'll exhale all the air out of your body through your mouth. This is a purifying breath. Let's try it. Inhale and exhale. Continue your purifying breath as you continue to relax and just be. Savasana. As you breathe and you relax your mind, body, and spirit, let us open our hearts and let them be filled with love. Love of yourself, but love of others. Love of those that are different. As we celebrate Black History Month, whoever's different, let us not be judgmental. Let us love all people. Scripture clearly says that we are all made in God's image. So whoever you are, know that we are all the same, that we are made in God's image. What a wonderful, wonderful thing to know and to be. Let us be thankful. Let us have our hearts filled with grace and with gratitude. And with peace. May your hearts be filled with peace today. We can find more peace in our hearts and our lives and with others if we just learn to love others, to put others above ourselves, to love our neighbor as ourselves, and to love our God with our heart, mind, and soul. And let us come back to a seated position the way we began our practice today, so we can have a moment of prayer request. For anyone that has prayer request, or if you know someone that needs prayer, you can jot it down in the comment section. You can scream it out in your room. We can pray for each other in spirit. We don't even have to be in the same room. So let us close our eyes and just pray. I'd like to lift up my mother today in prayer, as it is her 80th birthday, and she's such a strong and wonderful person, and she has been so blessed. I just lift her up. Happy birthday, Mom.
And I'll say a prayer for my brother Jim, who's going through some difficult times.
Yes, let's lift up Jim. Thank you. And I lift up my daughter, Megan, who is due to have her second baby a week from Tuesday, as she's a physician assistant in the emergency room. It's been quite a pregnancy to go through and not get COVID. So I just lift her health up, that she continues to be COVID free, and that Oliver, who's a little baby boy, will be delivered healthy, and that his brother Arlo, who's not even 2, will be healthy, and their dad Vincent. I just lift up this family. I will be there with them to help them, and so we'll be able to hopefully do yoga online, but I do lift them up in prayer. Thank you for your prayers for them. And with that, let's open our eyes, sit tall, take our arms out long with our palms up. Thank you for your patience today as we started a little bit late. Let us inhale to lift our hands up, and exhale, bring your hands over heart center. I hope you feel renewed, restored, and may peace be with you today and through your week. And
Peace and shalom.
prayer.
Thank you, Karen, and thank you for everybody who lifted up those prayers. Don't just know that we'll also pray for them for the week. We have a prayer team that collects those in the Living Room Church Monday mornings at 8 a.m. They just pray over all the prayer requests that come throughout the week. So thank you for bringing those. And Karen, thank you for your time and your perseverance to push through the technological challenges.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. All right, everybody. We had lots of questions come in about will this be available later, and when do we do this? So every week it's the same time, Friday, 9 a.m. We do it live. Yes, it's always available. So you can access it on Facebook. Obviously, it's stored in Facebook. You could join into the Living Room Church, and it's posted there in that group every week. And also it is on YouTube. So there's multiple YouTube channels that it's on. And if you just Google on YouTube, if you just go in the search and put Yoga Church Digital, it'll come up with all the different episodes that Karen's done over the whole last year. So there's a lot on there. So let's close today briefly with the Lord's Prayer. This is a prayer that Jesus taught his disciples. It's not just a prayer for Christians. It's a prayer for all people to acknowledge our higher power. So let's pray together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Amen. Thank you, Karen, and thank you, everybody, for joining in today.
Thank you. Woo,
See you next week.
Thank you, Michael.